Good morning. Good morning, dear friends. Let me know if my volume is loud and clear. Okay. So how are you this morning? Morning, June. How are you? We need to talk about next week's broadcast. Hi, Georgie. How are you there? Long time. When are you coming? Thanks for joining us. Brother Idowu Kolawole, thank you for joining us. Yeah, well, you have to help me because today's broadcast topic is a bit very, what can I say? It is very important. It is very important, and I'm depending on all of you. Mark, Jordan, thanks for joining us. Good morning. How are you? Where are you from? What time is it at your end? So thank you for joining me, dear friends. I'm Esther, and my husband has been taking you through a series on how to have a right mindset before marriage. So I thought I would continue from there. Georgie, you're welcome. Bless you. So I'll continue from there, and what I thought about to share this weekend is the right mindset before marriage, part 7. Do not lose yourself. Do not lose yourself. Do not lose who you are just because you've met this person, you're getting married, and everything is all about them and not you. There should be a healthy balance. And the reason I brought back this topic, because, not brought back, but actually we've not covered it before, is because it's very prevalent in the African communities or even Asian. It depends on how your experience has been. But I've seen many women, you know, the moment they get lost, it's like, they get married, it's like everything is now about their husband, about their children, you know, and they've lost themselves. And actually, when you really dig deep into themselves, into conversations, you realize that actually this person is not really happy. And I think that is rooted in the fact that they have lost themselves. So let's crack on. I welcome your comments. Sister Vowero, thank you for joining us. Brother Animasahun. Sorry, I'm not good at pronouncing your names. Thanks for joining us. Simon, how are you? Thanks for joining us. So, welcome, dear friends. Let's crack on. Do not lose yourself. Do not lose yourself. What do I mean by that? Do not lose your identity. Do not lose your inner passions, your inner calling. Just because you've now found yourself in this other commitment and everything is all about either children or you know, your husband or your wife. We need to strike a balance, because losing yourself is one of the reasons why people are in depression. People feel not fulfilled because they have lost their passion. So, and who do we blame? You know, we shouldn't blame anyone. We shouldn't blame the marriage. We should blame ourselves, because we determine what we achieve, what we become in life. So once you're thinking of marriage, you have to think, okay, now my schedule, my time has to be divided. I have to plan this and this. I have to achieve that in this time frame. There's a lot you have to think about before you just jump into a marriage. Okay, we are talking to those who are, you know, hoping to get married, and we are sharing what the right mindset should be, so that you don't get disappointed, you don't get, don't lose yourself. All right, you become fulfilled in life, even in your marriage. So one thing I need to note here is that the most important relationship in your life after God, okay, after your creator, is relationship with yourself. Relationship with yourself is so key, because that is where everything is rooted from. That's where everything springs from. Who you are, and you understanding yourself, you understanding where you're going, what you want to do with your life. Okay. So when I was thinking about this topic, I thought about I don't know how many years when I watched that Eddie Murphy film. Does anyone know that Eddie Murphy film that is called Coming to America? It's a long, old movie. Yeah, so I watched it when I was very young, and memories came back. I remembered when a certain lady was trained from birth to be married to a prince. Okay. We are talking about do not lose yourself. So she was trained from birth not to marry a prince. So everything that she was trained was to like what the prince likes, to like the food, what the prince food, what he likes, and everything. So the first time they met, the prince asked her, okay, oh, it's good to get to know each other. Now that we're going to get married, it would be good. So and then the lady told her, ever since I was born, I was trained to serve you. Everything was about the other person. Okay. So I think she lost herself. So the prince asked her that, what would you like to do? Just wanting to get to know her. The lady said, whatever you like. What kind of music do you like? Whatever kind of music you like. What's your favorite food? Whatever food you like. Ah! So that's a typical example of someone who has lost themselves. So I'm just using that as an analogy to help us understand this topic well. Okay, that the fact that you're going to marry, the fact that you're in marriage, please do not lose yourself. It's very important that you maintain a relationship with yourself. So the priest went on and asked her, so you mean you've been trained to serve me? Anything I tell you, you do? The lady said, yes, Your Highness. Okay, then bark like a dog. She started barking like a dog. Hop on one leg. She started hopping on one leg. All that show you that when you lose yourself, you're under actually manipulation. You're living someone else's life that does not fit in you, and that is a delusion. That is like you strayed away from yourself, and that is an example of losing yourself. So in the same way, the culture we find ourselves in, the societal expectations, and prepare people, okay, in a similar way, in that example that I've mentioned. So most especially in Africa and Asian communities, as I've mentioned. So you end up, being raised from childhood, how to be a wife, what to do to please your husband, to please your wife, whatever the case may be. And we have to draw a balance. We really have to draw a balance in this. So, I've asked some people, who are married and say, okay, what's your passion? What's your passion? Oh, what's your calling? Oh, my calling is to look after my husband, to please him, to raise my children. Yes, that is part. That is a good cause. That is a good cause. But as we are doing that, we shouldn't lose ourselves. Okay. So I'll give another example of what I mean by losing oneself. So that example is similar to this one. I think it's very common. Many speakers are talking about this example of a baby eagle, an eaglet that was raised with chicks. Okay. So it was raised and raised. All you knew how to do is what the chicks do, walk on the ground, eat, do what the chicks do and all that, and eat what they do eat. So yes, we can see that it can do what other people do. It can do what other birds can do. It's the same thing. You can look at the husband, you can look at the children. But its capacity was limited. It was never allowed to explore its flying capabilities as an eagle. So in the same way, we should not allow marriage or getting married to keep us from flying, that capacity that we are born with. As the people say, yeah, I'm here to conquer the world. The fact that you're married shouldn't stop there. There's a lot out there. So don't limit yourself, fulfill that passion in you. Okay. So that's why when you are getting married, you have to be someone who knows how to manage time, to balance your life, to be mature in most psychologically, in most, different aspects of life, so that you can balance your life and don't lose out. The reason why we find ourselves getting lost in marriage is because we're not prepared. We are not prepared mentally for this, and we didn't have the right mindset. So we end up not knowing how to balance our lives, to how to schedule, how to be able to tackle different things and yet be fulfilled and yet remain with our own personality, remain pursuing our own passions and calling. Okay. So, yes, as I mentioned before, I say that in my interactions with people, I've discovered that this problem is prevalent with women. Okay, women here are the victims in most cases. Okay, so men, I think you agree with me, please. Yeah, so it's just something for us all to learn, and even for you to teach and train your daughters in this. Okay, so for example, a woman may, for example, from her teenage life, she dreamt of desiring to finish college and go to university, pursue her career in accounting, being a lawyer, doctor, whatever it may be. Godfrey, Jacinta, Silvio, thank you for joining us. Regan, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Okay, so, and the moment she gets into a relationship, or she's expecting a baby, then she drops that off, and then she loses all that. Imagine that career she had. Okay, it's okay, you can have your baby, then plan for someone to help you as you pursue, and then after some time you can go and continue with your course. That is where I'm driving at. Let us not lose ourselves, lose our passions, and lose our calling, those things that we feel we are called to do, those things that give us joy, those things that if they are not tackled with, we feel pain. I'm going to talk about how we can get there, how we can understand our passions. Okay, another instance could be a woman or a lady who is maybe getting married to a leader in a church, or a pastor, in most cases, or any church or religious leader. Okay, and then of course when you're married to in such a situation, the expectation is that, okay, you as the wife of the leader, of the church leader, will automatically become the maybe women ministry leader. You automatically follow your husband, be a church leader as well. In some cases, it's okay. They may have the same passion, same calling. But in other cases, if you really check it out, it could be that the woman has lost themselves. They're just falling into that kind of a situation because the husband is there, and that's can be another example of losing oneself. Okay. So in that example, because she got married to the pastor or the church leader, she has strayed from herself and now wanting to follow that. I know the arguments that when you get married is oneness and all that. We shall come to that in another discussion. Okay, just keep with me. So and also another example could be of losing yourself could be before getting married, you are following a healthy lifestyle. For example, regular exercises and then healthy diet, and then after marriage, you find yourself, you've lost time. You don't have time anymore. I mean, when you wake up in the morning, there's no time to jog now. You have to prepare breakfast, you have to do this or that. Healthy lifestyle, if your spouse doesn't like healthy style and eating other type of food that are not so healthy, you go into that because preparing two sorts types of dishes in the house is not that convenient for you. So it could be that you're too busy and looking after others, looking after the family, and you have forgotten about yourself. That's another example of losing yourself. So I just want to ask you a question, those who are listening. Just share with us, write down in the comment section 2 examples or 1 example in life when we all tend to lose ourselves, and I'll read them out. Okay? And as you're thinking about those examples, you can get an idea from what I've shared about. I've given 3 examples of how you can drop out of school and not pursue your career, of how you can get married to a leader or church leader, and then you automatically become a church leader as well because you're the wife, your wife, of the GO or the church or the pastor. That's another example. But I'm not saying that you cannot have the same passions. We are looking at different scenarios here. And also, you may be having a healthy lifestyle before, and after marriage, you're losing it. So for those who are not yet married, we're just talking about how we can prevent ourselves, situations that show that we've lost ourselves because of marriage. So this will just prepare your heart, prepare your mind, and help you to understand yourself, to pursue your passions, even before you go into marriage, so that it won't be so difficult for you to change lifestyle. Okay. So what examples are you writing? Is there any? Just write for me examples that you think in life where instances where we think we lose ourselves. It could be a job, by the way, but that is not marriage. We're talking about having the right mindset before marriage. You do not lose yourself as a result of marriage. Okay. What example I was going to give is that you can go into a career just because it's the only thing around. It's popular, it earns you a lot of money, but actually it's not your passion. That is an example of losing yourself. But because we are sticking to marriage, I decided to leave that alone. Okay, another example that I'll show you is how can we overcome this problem and develop the right mindset. I want you to suggest. Okay, everyone, peace, Godfrey, Richard, Johanna, Robert, thanks for joining us. Please write for me instances in life where you think we all can lose ourselves, okay? Yeah, and also how can we overcome this problem? How can we develop the right mindset? All right, I don't see any comments. So, there's a comment, I think. Oh dear. Okay. Okay, so let's go on. How can we overcome this problem and develop the right mindset? So I hope you're with me. You understand where I'm coming from with this topic. Okay, not losing ourselves. So how can we overcome this? I think we talked about in the previous broadcast, we talked about self-discovery. It is so important. It sounds like a big thing. No, it's not mystery. It's not a mystery at all. Okay, self-discovery is actually setting time to really examine yourself and look back in your life experience, evaluate where you're coming from, where you are now, what really what passion are you having? What are those things that give you joy? You understand who you are. then when you find those things that give you joy and those things that don't make you happy, when you see them, okay. For example, if you're a very neat person, you always find rubbish around you. You feel like collecting it, although not everyone has time to go and picking rubbish on the streets, but we don't like to pass anything that is not organized. That means you have passion for being an organizer. That could be a passion for you. So self-discovery is going through that, and then the best way and environment to have approach this is to have regular personal retreats. Regular personal retreats whereby you have time for you to yourself, maybe 1 day or 3 days, whatever time you can afford, and you're studying, you're doing self-reflection, you have that quiet moment with yourself and with God. Okay, yeah, for those who are have a relationship with God, it's very important. And then you examine your life, you put down notes, you inquire, you get inspiration, you look through your life and see, actually, this is my passion. What have I done to achieve this? Then you discover your strength as well. You discover your weaknesses, and through that you have a plan. Those things direct you to where your passion is, to where your calling is. And when you do that regularly, you actually don't lose yourself. You keep in touch with yourself. Remember at the beginning of the broadcast, I mentioned that the most important relationship, second to the one with your creator, is relationship with yourself. It's so important, because when you're letting yourself well, you're in touch with yourself, you are easy. It's so easy for you to have a balanced life. It's so easy for you to relate with others. Okay, it's so easy for you not to avoid negative emotions. So that is very key. Oh, June. June is saying that example can be giving up work. Some ask their spouses to quit work because the man says he is capable of providing. They forget that it is not all about money. That is a good example, June. Yeah? It is a good example. Sometimes you are in a career, you are, yeah. So you're in your career, and then because you're getting married, your spouse says, quit work. You don't need to work. I'll provide. Oh, it's about your passion, your intellect. Maybe that person has developed himself intellectually, so you want that intellectual ability to just go down the drain because she's married? No. June, that is so true. Okay. Life is not all about money. It's about using the resources that we have been given, we have been endowed with, to be productive, to add something to the world around us. So June, thank you so much. Any other examples? I love that. Okay, so so I was just talking about self-discovery, and one thing that can guide you into this, if you're not so sure what your passion is or what your calling is that some people reflect back to when in their childhood, when they were about 8 years to 12, 8 to 12, we say 8 to 12 years of age, and they look at their lives. What was their passion in that age range, at that stage in their lives? What were they thinking of becoming? Sometimes it helps you connect back, because sometimes along the way we lose it. We pursue what other people are pursuing, we follow what our friends are following, we lose ourselves. But when you go back to that age, because that's the age you're starting to develop, to be inspired, it can guide you back. That is, if it can be redeemed back. Yes, actually you can redeem back your time. It is possible through planning, through scheduling, through working on a system. It is possible. Yeah, so what did you like to do in that time? It could be very cool. So actually, I was passionate about singing, that's those days. I was passionate about reading. How come I'm not reading anymore? Yeah, because I don't have time. I'm too busy with children. No, I know people who have families and yet write books, read 5 books in a week. They write books in a month. Yeah, so what makes them different? They have two hands, you have two hands. They have one brain, you have one brain. They have two legs, you have two legs. What's different? Planning, having a system in your life, how you handle your life, how you handle work. Some of them can delegate. There are some tasks that they can delegate to other people to do for them and pay them. So that saves you time. So there's a lot you can do to redeem your time and find yourself, regain your personality back and be fulfilled in life. So those who are not yet married, these are just hints for you to understand that you should price yourself, you're very high, even above marriage. Okay, do not lose yourself in marriage. Okay, others find another way to find your passions and begin to pursue it is, as I mentioned, find those things that give you pain. Do you find it difficult seeing orphans on the streets? Street children who are neglected, abandoned, they are living on their own. If that gives you pain. And when you look at orphanages that are providing a service for such children, that are really, children are happy, they are put in homes, that gives you joy. So you see the pain and the joy, they intersect around children. That means your passion is children. Yes, in a marriage, you're planning to have your own children, but you see problems outside and you also want to add to it. That could be your passion. That could be a part of yourself that you shouldn't lose. Okay, so pursue it and do something about it to help other children. Okay. Others can start discovering their passion or who they are by just identifying a problem. So this example I gave was just orphanages. It could be environmental cleanliness around. You want to start a campaign on keeping your streets clean, on providing good, proper waste management. So that could be another passion of yours. So find a problem in society and begin being a solution to that problem. And in doing that, as you're taking steps, you're doing that, actually, you find yourself being fulfilled. You discover yourself in that. You discover the skills you had that you never had before. You discover different people who can connect with you because they believe in what you're doing. So that's how you can develop your passion. That's how you can develop, discover yourself and pursue it. So it's just to take responsibility of a particular problem around you or in any sphere of influence that you're placed in. So the second approach, apart from self-discovery, is understanding who you are. Understanding who you are. Any person who knows that they're actually created in the image and likeness of God would not just settle down to just, my life is all about husband, my life is all about children. You not settle that. Because the big God, we always talk about God, the creator of everything, the one who created the whole earth, the world, and everything in it, and put systems in place. See the order, of light and darkness, day and night, seasons. See the designs of nature, the different birds and species. You see there's a lot of creativity in that, a lot of order, a lot of excellence in that. So when you see all that, and the creator of all that actually deposited, let me put it that way, deposited the whole of himself in you to be created in his own image and likeness, then you know that you have a responsibility to actually emulate him, to be a creator yourself. Okay. So being creative is not only to have babies. Being creative is to add something to the world, to go beyond your family, to influence your society for the better. Do you see any political issue that you can solve, any problem? Can you invent something that will help the world? That's how people invented aeroplanes, to help us fly to different places. Yeah, so we shouldn't lose ourselves. We mean that we should always stay in touch with our capabilities. We should always tap in there, our resources within us, and use them to be productive. and make a difference in our world. Okay. I like I like what the sentence that Shioma, a friend of mine, once said. We're talking about women and them saying that, oh, I'm a man with a womb, so my purpose is to use my womb to be a mother and all that. Then Shioma said, yes, but God gave us different parts of the body, different organs. It's not only the womb. We have hands, we have the brain, we have everything. So that also fits in here as well. That we should use resources, all of them, the intellect, the wisdom, that everything we have to be more productive, to produce books, to produce products, to be creative, set up industries. This is how development comes. When we all do not lose ourselves, when we all invest in our passions and callings and maximize that, and then produce products that will better our lives and our society. So when we reduce our existence, I'm just reading from my notes. When we reduce our existence to mind about only the mundane things, only the little things, or you're only minding about you and your family, and not about your neighbors, your society, your environment, your country, your continent, then we cease to be Homo sapiens. Remember, the difference why we are Homo sapiens and not animals, because we are thinking human beings. We are thinking human beings. So even animals can do whatever, looking after children and all that, okay? But we are above that, and we have to show that, okay? So reducing ourselves to the level of animals does not solve societal problems. Okay, that's why when you go to the forest, the way you found it 20 years ago is the way you find it, because there's no development there. Animals are not thinking. But when you come to human beings, Homo sapiens, a village a place was once a village is now developed into a city. So that's what I'm trying to say. Let us not lose ourselves. We have so much in us. Let us not just focus and limit ourselves to just the mundane things. There's a lot we can do. Okay. And then, and the one good thing about that, people who have pursued their passions, their calling, is that actually, even when they're gone, they're still remembered. Why? They made impact. They touched other lives. It was not all about their family. Even on their burial, it's not only their children, husband, and spouse that are there to mourn for them. Presidents of nations come there, leaders everywhere, international leaders. Why? Because they have been so influential. They have tapped into themselves, their passion, and expanded their boundaries beyond family. So that is the Amorite mindset we should have before marriage. That life does not start and end in marriage. It goes beyond. I don't know where I read this. I think in one of Dr. Sandy Adelaja's books, that if your marriage is not affecting your society, if your prosperity is not affecting your society, then you're not prosperous at all. So if your marriage is also not bringing a blessing to other people, then it's not helping. It's not helpful at all. So let us always think sociocentric and not egocentric. So examples of those who do not lose themselves. Okay, I'm just giving an example just to help us understand this topic more. These are the people I'm talking, so I'm just quoting. Okay, examples. Someone could say that I see a lot of teenage pregnancy cases in this community. I'll take responsibility for this and do something about it. Maybe set up a curriculum to teach about, to guide teenagers on how to, to live a fulfilled life, how to avoid all these traps that they fall in. Okay. And I'm glad that June, I think, has released her book. Maybe we'll have another time to talk about her book that is helping youth discover themselves. So that is also timely. That is part of not losing yourself. Okay. So another example could be that, okay, you've read a book about fatherhood. Okay, so this is an example for men. You've read a book about fatherhood and it has helped you to become a better father to your children. But a lot of your friends are struggling in fatherhood. Okay, what do you do? Are you only going to focus on your children because you're a good father, so it starts and ends with you? Nah. I think we all have that innate ability in us, that innate connection that once you're not helping another person, you don't feel fulfilled. Okay. So in this case, this person could say, you know what? I'll gather my friends, my male friends, and we'll have discussions about fatherhood. I'll set up either a home group or a men's fellowship somewhere that we meet regularly, maybe once a month, and we talk about these issues. And that is how I'll help my community become better by raising better fathers, and therefore they will have better children. We will have less children on the streets. You're making actually that simple act, that simple sacrifice, you're making a big difference. And you're making your community a better place. You're making your country a better place. And hell what? We will be hailing you. Okay? So that is also part of passion. You know, you see a passion, you see a problem, you take responsibility for it, you want to solve it. That is your passion. Another example could be as an experienced single parent. Okay, you want to do more for younger single parents by forming a support group for them. Through your experience as a single mother, you know the hardships involved, you know what you went through. Maybe you went through depression. How did you come out of it? Which organization supported you? And there are younger single parents who don't know anything and they're struggling. Okay, you could identify them because you connect with them, you have the same experience. Then form a support group for them. Gather them all up, have sessions together, have tea together, you know, things like that. Remember when I say that sometimes your passion is where your pain and joy intersect. So that could be one of them. That is how a person who has not lost themselves can start. Yeah, so you don't lose yourself in your problems, you know what? No, you gain yourself by serving people, serving humanity. Actually, the big part of ourselves is actually serving others. Check Mother Teresa, you know how fulfilled she was through her simple acts of love, and the whole world is talking about her even after she's gone. Okay, so there's a lot of examples we can emulate from that will guide us into finding passion. You know, Mother Teresa did not say, okay, I'll be in this convent all my life. No, she discovered, actually, I can't lose myself. Out there when I'm walking, I'm seeing all these poor people. Part of me is that I want them to be happy. I want to help them. And that's how she found her passion. That's how she found herself. Let us find ourselves. Let us not lose ourselves, even in marriage. In case you're married already and what I'm talking to you is resonating with you, you can redeem it back. Just have a systematic way of planning your time, your schedules. Create time for yourself. Create times for those things that give you passion. Add value to your life and to your community. That will bring fulfillment and happiness and more joy to you. Okay. So note that in all these examples. Oh, hi, Paul. You're welcome. Sorry, I'm just checking to see whether I haven't missed any comments. No, not anymore. Okay. So we are going on. I think we are almost done. We shall continue with this next time. Okay. So we shall continue with this topic next time because we're still following this, this title, the series of The Right Mindset for Marriage. So we shall talk more about this. Any questions you have for me? Okay. All right. So I think we'll stop here for now. until another broadcast. So it was just a short, brief discussion. And the action point would be do some self-evaluation to find out the areas in your life where you are losing yourself and correct these immediately. I repeat, do some self-evaluation to find out the areas in your life where you seem to be losing yourself and correct these immediately. Okay, so it could be you're married and you find that you had the passion for gardening or farming and you've lost it. How can you redeem it? Think about that. It could be that you're a single person and all your focus right now is finding a husband. Attending all the social gatherings, just finding a husband. Yet, you have passion for writing, you have passion for teaching, and you've put those passions aside and pursuing this thing. Okay, so you're losing yourself in that way. You need to go back. It's actually when you are doing and fulfilling your passion and calling that you actually glow. It's a glory that comes in you because you're more fulfilled, you're more joyous. And in doing that, you find you meet your spouse there. So these are some of the action points that we can do. Okay, so I'll do that for now, and I'll see you in the next broadcast. God bless you and thank you for joining me. Have a nice weekend. Bye.